Captain Ji-won Park stood in the center of the great hall. Her hands were steady, but her heart was beating fast. Around her, hundreds of alien beings sat in their floating chairs. Some had 6 arms. Others looked like giant insects. A few were just balls of light that changed colors when they spoke. This was the Galactic Council Station Omega-7. It was the most important place in the galaxy. Every major alien race had representatives here. Today, they would all see what Earth had built. For the first time, Ji-won pressed a button on her small device. Above her head, a blue light appeared. It showed the shape of a human warship. The ship looked simple. It was made of metal and had straight lines. There were no fancy curves or glowing parts like the alien ships. The room became very quiet. Then, someone started laughing. It was a sound like breaking glass mixed with bird calls. The Vorthak delegate was the one making the noise. The Vorthak looked like a giant praying mantis with purple skin. Its translator box spoke in perfect human language. "This is what Earth calls a warship?" the Vorthak said. "It looks like a metal box with engines stuck on the back." More laughter filled the room. The Altarians made a sound like singing crystals. Their ships were made of living crystal that could bend space itself. To them, human ships must look like stone tools. Ambassador Hyun-woo Kim sat in the human section. His face turned red. He had worked for 2 years to get Earth this chance to show their military designs. Now the whole galaxy was laughing at them. Commander Min-ho Lee stood next to the wall. His job was to protect the human delegation. Right. Now, he wanted to protect them from embarrassment more than physical danger. His hands were closed into fists. Admiral So-young-cho remained calm. She had expected this reaction. Earth was new to the galaxy. They had only made contact with aliens 5 years ago. Every other race had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. The Kelleran War Prime stood up. Kelleran ships were alive. They grew them like plants, but these plants could eat other ships. The War Prime was 3 meters tall and covered in green scales that glowed with their own light. "Young humans," the War Prime said. His voice was deep and made the floor shake. "Your courage is admirable, but these designs would not survive one shot from our smallest training vessels. Our seedlings pilot better ships than this." The Zephyrian representative flickered brighter. Zephyrians were beings made of pure energy. They lived inside special containers that let them interact with physical beings. "Perhaps Earth should focus on farming and mining," the Zephyrian said. "Leave the fighting to those who understand it." Ji-won felt heat rise in her face. She had spent her whole life in Earth's military. She had helped design these ships. They were not just metal boxes, but she could not tell them the real secrets. Not yet. "These ships use chemical rockets," said the hegemony representative. "The hegemony controlled half the galaxy. Their ships used something called quantum drives that could cross space instantly. How do you expect to keep up with modern warfare?" "The armor looks thin," added another voice. "One plasma blast would cut right through it." "Where are the energy shields?" asked someone else. "Do they even have artificial intelligence?" came another question. Ji-won looked at her fellow humans. They all had the same expression. They were trying to stay professional while being insulted by the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Dr. Yoonji Yang sat in the back row. She was Earth's chief military engineer. She had designed most of the systems in these ships. Her face showed no emotion, but her eyes were sharp. She was studying every alien ship design displayed around the room. The Trilaxian ambassador raised 4 of his tentacles. Perhaps we should offer Earth our older ship designs. Something more suitable for beginners. The whole room erupted in laughter again. Even the normally quiet Nexari made their clicking sounds of amusement. "Thank you for your generous offer," Admiral Cho said. She stood up slowly. Her voice was calm and professional. "Earth appreciates the Council's feedback on our designs." Feedback? The Vorthak delegate's voice was full of disbelief. "This is not feedback. This is an intervention. Someone must explain to Earth what real warships look like before they embarrass themselves in actual combat." The War Prime nodded. "The galaxy is a dangerous place. There are pirates, rebels, and worse things in the dark between stars. These ships would be death traps for any crew brave enough to fly them." Jiwan wanted to speak. She wanted to tell them about the real capabilities hidden in those simple-looking hulls. But orders were orders. Earth was not ready to show its true hand. "We thank the Council for their concern," Jiwan said. "Earth will consider all suggestions, carefully." "Consider them quickly," said the hegemony representative. "The Kelleran Empire and our alliance are heading toward conflict. If Earth wants to be taken seriously as a galactic power, you will need real military forces." The session continued for another hour. Every alien race took turns explaining why human ship designs were hopeless. They offered advice, old technology, and even crew training. All of it was given with the tone adults use when teaching children. When the meeting finally ended, the human delegation walked to their quarters in silence. The station's corridors were filled with alien beings discussing what they had seen. None of them looked worried about Earth's military capabilities. Ambassador Kim closed the door to their meeting room. "That was humiliating," he said. "It was necessary," Admiral Cho replied. "They needed to see what they expected to see." Commander Lee looked confused. "Admiral, with respect, what did we accomplish here? The entire galaxy thinks we're a joke." Dr. Yang spoke for the first time since the meeting. "We accomplished exactly what we came to do. We made them underestimate us." She activated a small holographic display. It showed detailed scans of every alien ship design that had been presented in the meeting. While they were laughing at our primitive ships, our sensors were recording everything. Their hull compositions, their weapon signatures, their shield frequencies. Everything. Captain Park smiled for the first time that day. "They think they know what human ships can do." "Let them think that," Admiral Cho said. "The longer they underestimate us, the more time we have to prepare." "Prepare for what?" Ambassador Kim asked. Dr. Yang's smile was not friendly. "For the day when we show them what human ships really can do." Outside their window, alien warships moved through space like graceful dancers. Crystal ships that bent reality around them. Living vessels that pulsed with organic power. Energy beings in technological shells that glowed like small stars. All of them beautiful. All of them specialized. All of them following the same patterns their races had used for thousands of years. None of them ready for what was coming. 6 months had passed since the embarrassing presentation at the Galactic Council. The alien races had moved on to more important matters. The Hegemony Alliance and the Kelleran Empire were moving closer to war. Border skirmishes happened every week. Trade routes were being disrupted. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for the explosion. Fleet Admiral Tae-Hyung Nam stood on the observation deck of Luna Station. Through the transparent aluminum windows, he could see Earth's first battle fleet taking shape. 12 ships floated in the construction yards. They still looked exactly like the designs that had been mocked at the council meeting. Simple metal hulls, basic chemical engines, no obvious weapons systems. To any alien observer, they would appear primitive and harmless. That was exactly what Earth wanted. "Status report," Admiral Nam said to his aide. "All ships are on schedule," replied Commander Yuniseo. "The Incheon's Pride, Busan Thunder, Seoul's Hammer, and Gwangju's Vengeance will be ready for trials next week. The remaining 8 ships will follow within 2 months." Admiral Nam nodded. "And the special systems?" "Fully integrated and tested. The aliens won't detect them until it's too late. On Mars, the Defense Academy was training Earth's first generation of interstellar naval officers. The Red Planet had been transformed into a massive military training ground. Young humans from every nation on Earth came here to learn how to fight in space. Instructor Yuniseo walked between rows of students in the main classroom. Today's lesson was alien combat, tactics. The walls showed holographic displays of various alien ship types. "Who can tell me the primary weakness of Altarian crystal ships?" she asked. Cadet Donghyun Bae raised his hand. "They rely completely on their quantum shields. If you can disrupt the quantum field, the whole ship becomes vulnerable." "Correct." "And the Vorthak bioships?" Cadet Jisoo Won answered, "They use hive mind coordination, jam their communication frequencies, and they become confused and disorganized." "Excellent. Remember, every alien race has evolved along a specific path. They've perfected 1 or 2 combat styles over thousands of years. This makes them very good at what they do, but also predictable." A student in the back row raised her hand. "Instructor, what about human combat styles? What's our specialty?" Yuna smiled. "That's the beautiful thing about humans. We don't have just one specialty. We adapt. We learn. We take the best parts of every other race and make them better." On the Jupiter Research Station, Research Director Kyung-min Oh was putting the finishing touches on humanity's greatest secret. The laboratory was filled with alien technology that had been carefully acquired through trade, theft, and reverse engineering. "Show me the test results," he said to his assistant. Dr. Min-jae Kang pulled up a holographic display. The adaptive weapons system passed all trials. It can reconfigure itself to counter any known alien defense in under 30 seconds. And the stealth modifications? Perfect. Our ships will appear to have standard human technology until they choose to reveal otherwise. Kyung-min walked over to a sealed chamber. Inside was a small device that looked like a simple computer core. But this device contained the combined knowledge of 17 different alien military technologies. It had taken Earth's best scientists 3 years to create it. "One of these cores goes into each ship," he explained to the new technicians. "They will monitor enemy tactics in real time and adapt our weapons and defenses accordingly. While the aliens fight the same way their ancestors did 1,000 years ago, our ships will evolve during battle." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Aibo alien powers continued their preparations for war. The Kelleran Empire was growing new ships at an incredible rate. Their biofactories worked day and night, creating living vessels that could heal damage and reproduce themselves. War Prime Veltar stood in the center of his flagship's bridge. The bridge was alive, with walls that pulsed like a heartbeat and controls that grew from the floor like plants. Around him, his officers communicated through bioluminescent patterns on their skin. "Status of the fleet?" he asked. 300 war vessels ready for combat," replied his second-in-command. "The new seedling ships are particularly aggressive. They hunger for battle." "Good." When war comes, we will show the hegemony the power of natural evolution. In Hegemony Space, Admiral Kexriel reviewed his own forces. The Hegemony ships were technological marvels. Their hulls were made of programmable matter that could reshape itself. Their weapons could punch holes through space itself. Our quantum cannons can destroy any ship in one shot, his tactical officer reported. The Kelleran's organic hulls will offer no protection. And our shields? Impenetrable. Nothing can penetrate quantum barriers. Neither the Hegemony nor the Kelleran Empire paid any attention to the small human fleet being built in Earth's solar system. Intelligence reports mentioned the primitive human ships, but they were classified as no threat and filed away. The other alien races were equally dismissive. The Altarians continued to perfect their crystal growing techniques. The Vorthok expanded their hive mind networks. The Zephyrians developed new energy manipulation technologies. Each race believed their evolutionary path was superior. They had been proven right for thousands of years. Why should this time be different? Back on Earth, Captain Jiwon Park was selected to command the Incheon's Pride, the flagship of the human fleet. She stood in the ship's bridge for the first time. It looked simple and functional. Metal walls, basic control panels, standard human technology. But she knew the truth. Hidden behind those metal walls were systems that no alien race had ever imagined. Adaptive armor that could change its properties. Weapons that could modify themselves mid-battle. Sensors that could learn from any alien technology they encountered. "Captain," said her first officer, Commander Wu Jin Choi, "we've received word that the Hegemony and Kelleran forces are massing near the Kepler 442 system." "That's neutral space," Park replied. "Both sides are looking for an excuse to fight. Intelligence suggests the Galactic Council will call for a peacekeeping intervention soon." Park smiled. "How convenient. Our ships need a field test." Dr. Yunji Yang arrived on the bridge carrying a secure data tablet. "Final systems check complete," she reported. "All adaptive protocols are active and ready." "How do we look to external sensors?" Park asked. "Like exactly what we appeared to be 6 months ago? Primitive metal boxes with chemical rockets." "Perfect. Let them keep thinking that until it's too late." On Luna Station, Admiral Nam received the communication he had been waiting for. The Galactic Council was indeed calling for a peacekeeping. Forced to prevent the Hegemony-Kelleran conflict from spreading, they want each member race to contribute ships, Commander Seo reported. "Minimum commitment is 4 vessels." "We'll send exactly 4, Nam decided. "The Incheon's Pride, Busan, Thunder, Soul's Hammer, and Gwangju's Vengeance." "Sir, that's our entire ready fleet. Are you sure we should risk everything on the first mission?" Admiral Nam looked out at the human ships floating in space. They looked small and fragile compared to the massive alien vessels he had seen in intelligence reports. But appearances could be deceiving. "Commander, those aliens have been fighting the same way for thousands of years. They've perfected their techniques, but they've also become predictable. Our ships don't need to be better than theirs in any single area. They just need to be better than theirs in every area that matters. And if we're wrong, then humanity will learn from our mistakes and do better next time. That's what we do. We adapt, we improve, and we survive." The orders went out across the human fleet. 4 ships would represent Earth in the galaxy's most important peacekeeping mission. The crews were young and untested, but they had trained for this moment their entire careers. As the ships prepared to leave Earth's solar system, none of the crew members knew they were about to change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. They only knew they had a job to do, and they were very good at their jobs. The Kepler 442 system was supposed to be neutral space. It had 3 planets rich in rare metals that every alien race wanted. For 50 years, no one had been allowed to claim it. Now both the Hegemony Alliance and the Kelleran Empire had fleets moving toward it. Captain Jaewon Lim stood on the bridge of the Soul's Hammer. Around him, his crew prepared for their first real mission. Through the main screen, he could see the other human ships. The Inchen's Pride led their small formation, with the Busan Thunder and Gwangju's Vengeance following close behind. "Any word from Fleet Command?" asked his second officer. "Orders are simple," Lim replied. "Make humanity's presence known, but don't appear too threatening. We're supposed to look adequate, nothing more." The Soul's Hammer was one of Earth's newest ships. Like the others, it looked basic from the outside. Metal hull, simple engines, standard human design. But Captain Lim knew what was hidden inside. Systems that could adapt to any threat. Weapons that could learn from enemy tactics. Technology that the galaxy had never seen before. They arrived at Kepler 442 to find a massive gathering of alien warships. The Galactic Council's peacekeeping fleet was already there. Dozens of vessels from different races floated in perfect formations. "Look at that," whispered Navigation Officer Su Jin-yoon. "I've never seen so many different ship types in one place." The Altarian vessels were works of art. Made from living crystal, they looked like giant jewels that could bend light around them. Their quantum shields created rainbow patterns in space. Each ship was unique, grown rather than built. The Vorthak contribution was equally impressive. Their bioships looked like massive insects with organic hulls that pulsed with life. They moved in perfect coordination, sharing thoughts through their hive mind network. When one ship turned, they all turned at exactly the same time. The Zephyrian ships were the strangest. They were containers made of energy-resistant materials that held beings of pure light. The Zephyrians themselves were visible as bright flames dancing inside their vessels. Their technology was based on pure energy manipulation. "Human fleet, this is Peacekeeping Command," came a transmission. "Take position in Grid Section 77. Try not to get in the way." Captain Sun-Mi Kang of the Busan Thunder heard the insult in the alien commander's voice. Humans were clearly expected to stay on the sidelines while the real military forces handled things. "Acknowledged Peacekeeping Command," Captain Park replied from the Inchen's Pride. "Human fleet moving. To assigned position." As they took their place in the formation, Commander Woo Jin Choi ran sensor scans on every alien ship present. The data was automatically analyzed by their adaptive systems: hull compositions, weapon types, shield frequencies, communication protocols. Everything was recorded and studied. "This is incredible," he reported to Captain Park. "Our systems are learning their technology just by watching them. We now have detailed information on 17 different alien ship classes." "Good," Park replied. "The more they show us, the better prepared we'll be." 3 days passed with increasing tension. The Hegemony fleet arrived first, led by Admiral Kexriel's flagship. The massive vessel was 5 kilometers long and made of programmable matter that shifted and flowed like liquid metal. Its quantum weapons could destroy planets. The Kelleran response was swift. War Prime Veltar brought 300 bioships, each one a living creature bred for war. The smallest was the size of a city block. The largest could swallow space, stations whole. "Both fleets are claiming salvage rights to the system," reported Communications Officer Hyejin Im. "Neither side is backing down." The peacekeeping fleet was caught in the middle. Officially, they were there to prevent conflict. In reality, each alien race had secret alliances and old grudges. The Altarians supported the hegemony. The Vorthak favored the Kellorans. The Zephyrians claimed neutrality but had financial interests in hegemony space. "This is going to explode," predicted Tactical Officer Minho Jiang aboard the Guangzhou's Vengeance. "Everyone here wants to fight someone." Captain Jiwon Park watched the situation develop from the Inchan's Pride. She had studied alien psychology at the academy. Each race was acting exactly as predicted. They were following patterns that had been established thousands of years ago. "Captain," reported her sensor officer, "we're detecting weapons charging on multiple ships. The hegemony flagship is powering up its quantum cannons. And the Kellorans? Their bioships are releasing combat pheromones. They're preparing to attack." The first shot came from a Kelloran escort vessel. It fired a bioplasma burst at a hegemony cruiser that had moved too close to their formation. The plasma ate through the cruiser's shields and hull in seconds. The hegemony response was immediate. Admiral Kexriel's flagship fired its main quantum cannon. The beam punched a hole through space itself, completely destroying 3 Kelloran. "Bioships! All ships! Maintain peacekeeping formation!" ordered the Altarian fleet commander. "Do not engage!" But it was too late. 50 years of tension exploded in minutes. The carefully organized peacekeeping fleet dissolved into chaos as old alliances and hidden agendas took over. The Altarian ships activated their quantum shields and moved to support the hegemony forces. Their crystal hulls blazed with collected starlight as they fired coherent energy beams. The Vorthak vessels swarmed toward the Altarians. They moved like a living cloud, each ship controlled by the hive mind. Their bioweapons were designed to eat through any material, including living crystal. The Zephyrian ships tried to maintain neutrality for about 30 seconds. Then one of their energy beings decided the hegemony had better trade agreements. Pure energy lanced out from their containment vessels, overloading nearby Kelloran nervous systems. "This is exactly what we hoped for," Admiral Nam's voice came through the secure communication channel. "All alien forces are engaged and following their standard tactics. Execute Protocol Terran." Captain Park smiled. "All ships, you heard the Admiral. Time to show them what human engineering can really do." The 4 human ships had been hanging back, appearing to avoid the main battle. To every alien sensor, they looked like primitive vessels trying to stay out of a fight they couldn't handle. Their weapons were powered down. Their shields were at minimum strength. They looked helpless. That was about to change. "Adaptive systems online," reported Dr. Yang from the Inchan's Pride's engineering section. "All alien technologies cataloged and counters prepared." "Stealth systems ready," added Commander Choi. "We can phase shift through Altarian quantum, barriers using modified Zephyrian energy patterns." "Bio-weapons loaded," confirmed Captain Lim from the Soul's Hammer. "Nanite swarms programmed with Vorthak genetic markers." "All ships report ready," Captain Kang added from the Busan Thunder. Captain Park looked at the chaos surrounding them. Hundreds of alien ships were fighting with technologies perfected over millennia. Each race was using their evolutionary advantages. The Altarians relied on their energy shields. The Vorthak used swarm coordination. The Zephyrians overwhelmed enemies with pure power. The hegemony depended on their advanced technology. The Kellorans trusted their biological superiority. All of them were predictable. All of them were fighting the same way their ancestors had, fought for thousands of years. None of them were ready for what humans had learned to do. "All ships," Captain Park announced. "Weapons free. Show them why they should never have laughed at Earth." The human ships moved forward into the battle. To alien eyes, they still looked like primitive metal boxes, but appearances were about to become very, very deceiving. The galaxy's most advanced military forces were about to learn what happened when you underestimated human creativity. What happened next would be talked about in military academies across the galaxy for generations. The Ancients' pride moved toward the Altarian battle line. Their crystal ships had formed a defensive wall, their quantum shields shimmering like soap bubbles in space. These shields had never been penetrated. They could stop any known weapon by creating small tears in space-time itself. Adaptive systems analyzing Altarian quantum frequency, reported Commander Choi. Solution found. Implementing Zephyrian, energy phase technology. Captain Park watched her ship's hull begin to glow. To the Altarians, it must have looked like the primitive human vessel was overloading its power systems. They probably thought it was about to explode. Instead, the Ancients' pride simply walked through their shield wall. The human ship passed through the quantum barrier like it was made of air. The Altarian weapons officer had never seen anything like it. His crystalline face showed pure shock as the metal ship appeared inside their defensive formation. "How is this possible?" he transmitted. "Human ingenuity," Captain Park replied, and opened fire. But these were not the simple chemical weapons the aliens expected. The Ancients' pride's guns had adapted, using Altarian crystal technology combined with hegemony quantum mechanics. Each shot was perfectly tuned to shatter crystal hulls at the molecular level. 3 Altarian ships cracked apart like glass hitting concrete. Meanwhile, the Busan Thunder was engaging the Vorthak swarm. Captain Kang watched hundreds of bioships, moving in perfect coordination. Their hive mind made them incredibly effective, but it also made them vulnerable in a way they had never considered. "Releasing nanite swarm," she announced. Millions of microscopic robots poured out of the Busan Thunder's hull. They looked like glittering dust in the starlight. The Vorthak ships ignored them completely. Nanites were too small to be a threat. They were wrong. Each nanite was programmed with detailed information about Vorthak biology. As they spread through the swarm fleet, they began to interfere with the bioship's communication systems. The nanites didn't attack the ships directly. Instead, they made each ship think it was receiving different orders from the hive mind. Chaos erupted in the Vorthak formation. Ships began firing on each other. Some turned left, while others turned right. The perfect coordination that had made them unbeatable for 1,000 years collapsed in minutes. "What is happening to our network?" transmitted the Vorthak fleet commander. "You're learning what happens when someone understands your biology better than you do," Captain Kang replied. The Soul's hammer targeted the Zephyrian energy beings. These creatures were pure thought and light, contained in technological shells. Their energy attacks could overload any electrical system instantly. They had never been defeated in direct combat. Captain Lim had studied their records carefully. "Deploy electromagnetic dampening field," he ordered. The space around the Soul's hammer filled with an invisible energy pattern. When the Zephyrians fired their lightning attacks, the energy was absorbed and redirected back at them. Their own weapons turned against their containment systems. "Impossible!" flickered one Zephyrian as its containment vessel began to fail. "How do they know our technology?" "We learned it from you," Lim answered, "and we made it better." The Guangzhou's vengeance faced the most dangerous target. War Prime Veltar's flagship was a living mountain of teeth and claws. The bioship was 3 kilometers long and covered in armor that could heal itself. Its weapons were creatures that ate metal and energy. Captain Jiwon Park, now commanding the combined human fleet, smiled as she watched her ships work. "Target the Kelleran flagship," Show them what happens when evolution meets intelligence. The Guangzhou's Vengeance fired something that looked like a simple missile. The Kelleran organic armor easily absorbed it. War Prime Veltar's crew reported no damage. Pathetic human weapons, the War Prime growled. Is this the best Earth can do? No, transmitted Captain Park. This is. The missile had not been designed to explode. Instead, it contained billions of modified viruses. Each virus was specifically engineered to attack Kelleran bioship tissue. As they spread through the flagship's living hull, they began to rewrite its genetic code. The massive ship started to turn against itself. Its armor began to consume its own weapons. Its healing systems attacked its life support. Within minutes, the most feared warship in the Kelleran fleet was eating itself alive. War Prime Veltar felt his ship dying around him. How do you know our genetic codes? This information is impossible to obtain. We've been studying you for 6 months, Park replied. Every signal you sent, every biosample you left behind, every genetic marker in your communications. We learned everything about you while you learned nothing about us. The human ships moved through the alien fleet, like ghosts. Every defense the aliens had perfected over thousands of years proved useless. Their quantum shields were penetrated. Their hive minds were disrupted. Their energy attacks were turned against them. Their biological advantages became weaknesses. But the humans were not just using alien technology. They were using it better than the aliens themselves. Lieutenant Colonel Sung-Wan Park led the Marine assault teams. His soldiers wore armor that adapted to each alien species they encountered. Fighting the ice world Krixari, the suits provided heating elements and grip enhancers. Boarding hegemony ships, the armor generated electromagnetic pulses to disrupt their technology. Sergeant Myung Han found herself face-to-face with War Prime Veltar himself. The massive Kelleran leader was trying to reach an escape pod as his flagship dissolved around him. "You cannot defeat me, small human," he roared. "I am the product of 10,000 years of evolution. And I'm the product of 10,000 years of learning how to kill things like you," Han replied. Her armor had analyzed the War Prime's bioluminescent communication patterns. As he tried to call for help from his crew, her suit jammed his signals and replaced them with her own commands. His own people began to attack him. Across the battlefield, alien commanders sent desperate messages to their home worlds. The humans have breakthrough technology. Their ships are unlike anything we've seen. They're using our own weapons against us. How did they learn so much about us? Admiral So Young Cho's voice cut through all alien communications on every frequency. Her words were calm and professional, but they carried the weight of absolute victory. "This is Admiral Cho of the Terran Fleet. You ridiculed our primitive vessels. You called us crude and backwards. You laughed at our metal boxes and chemical rockets. You thought you understood what human ships could do." She paused, letting her words sink in. "You were wrong. We learned from each of your species. We studied your strengths and your weaknesses. We took your technologies and made them better. We spent 6 months preparing for this moment, while you spent 6 months underestimating us." On the main screen of the Inchen's Pride, Captain Park watched alien ships surrender one by one. The most advanced military forces in the galaxy were being destroyed by 4 ships they had dismissed as primitive. "You made one critical error," Admiral Cho continued. "You assumed that because we were new to the galaxy, we were inferior to you. You thought that because our ships looked simple, they were simple. You believed that because we had been fighting for a shorter time, we fought worse than you. But humans don't just fight. We learn. We adapt. We take what works and make it better. While you perfected the same techniques your ancestors used 1,000 years ago, we perfected the art of learning from our enemies. This is Admiral Cho of Earth. The Battle of Kepler 442 is over. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated according to galactic conventions. Continue fighting and discover what other surprises human engineering has prepared for you. The alien fleet began to surrender. Ships that had ruled the galaxy for millennia powered down their weapons and submitted to 4 vessels they had mocked as harmless. In the depths of space, wreckage from dozens of advanced alien warships drifted slowly among the stars. The most sophisticated military technologies in the galaxy had been reduced to scrap metal and floating debris. And in the middle of it all, 4 simple human ships sat undamaged, their crews amazed at what they had accomplished. They had just changed the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The silence after battle was always strange. Captain Jiwon Park stood on the bridge of the Inchen's Pride, looking out at the debris field that had once been the galaxy's most powerful fleet. Pieces of Altarian crystal ships caught starlight and threw it back in rainbow patterns. The remains of Vorthak biovessels still twitched with dying life. Zephyrian containment units flickered weakly as their energy beings tried to escape. "Damage report," she requested. "Minor hull scoring on the Soul's Hammer," reported Commander Choi. "The Busan Thunder lost 2 sensor arrays. Otherwise, all ships are fully operational." 4 human ships, hundreds of alien vessels destroyed or surrendered. The numbers were almost impossible to believe. "Captain, we're receiving surrender transmissions from the remaining hegemony forces," said Communications Officer Hyejin Im. "Admiral Kexriel wants to discuss terms." "Put him through." The main screen showed the hegemony commander. His blue skin had turned pale with shock. Behind him, his bridge crew worked frantically to repair systems damaged by their own adaptive weapons being turned against them. "Human Commander," Admiral Kexriel said, "I formally surrender my remaining forces. Your tactics were unexpected." "Our tactics were human," Park replied. "That should have been expected." 3 weeks later, Ambassador Hyunwoo Kim once again stood before the Galactic Council. But this time, the Great Hall was silent. The same alien delegates who had laughed at human ship designs now sat in stunned quiet. Holographic displays showed the complete battle footage from Kepler 442. The Vorthak delegate's translator box was barely working. "This cannot be accurate data," it whispered. "These readings suggest human ships used 17 different alien technologies simultaneously." "The readings are correct," Ambassador Kim replied. "Earth's ships are designed to adapt and learn. While your races perfected individual technologies, we perfected the ability to use all technologies." Dr. Yunji Yang stepped forward. She looked the same as she had 6 months ago, but now every alien in the room knew who she really was. The engineer who had designed the weapons that defeated their greatest fleets. "Your mistake was assuming that newer meant weaker," she said. "You thought that because humans were new to the galaxy, we would fight like beginners. Instead, we fought like students who had studied every lesson you taught us." She activated a holographic display showing human ship schematics. But these were not the simple designs they had seen before. Now the aliens could see the true complexity hidden inside those metal hulls. "Every ship you showed us, every weapon, you demonstrated every defense you relied on," Dr. Yang continued. "We studied it all. We learned how it worked. Then we learned how to defeat it." The Trilaxian ambassador raised a trembling tentacle. "But how? Our technologies are protected by quantum encryption. Our bioships use genetic codes that take centuries to understand. Our energy patterns are unique to our species. Your quantum encryption was broken by our computers in 3 days, Yang replied calmly. Your genetic codes were analyzed from tissue samples you left on every station you visited. Your energy patterns were recorded every time you communicated. With other ships. You were studying us. The Zephyrian representative flickered in realization. For 6 months, Yang confirmed. While you dismissed us as primitive, we were learning everything about you. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your blind spots. By the time we arrived at Kepler 442, we knew how to counter every technology in your fleets. Fleet Admiral Taehyung Nam appeared on the main display, transmitting from Luna Station. Behind him, the aliens could see dozens of new human ships under construction. These vessels were larger than the first generation, and their hulls showed hints of technologies that no single alien race had ever possessed. The galaxy is entering a new era, Admiral Nam announced. For thousands of years, each race has followed the same patterns. You perfected what evolution gave you and stopped learning. Humans never stop learning. War Prime Veltar, broadcasting from a Kelleran medical facility where doctors were still trying to repair the damage to his bioluminescent communication organs, managed to speak. What do you want from us? Nothing, Ambassador Kim replied. We want to give you something. A choice. The room stirred with confusion. You can continue fighting each other the same way you fought for thousands of years, Kim continued. Or you can learn to fight the way humans fight, with intelligence instead of instinct, with adaptation instead of tradition. Captain Park's image appeared on another screen. She was back on Earth, but her words were being transmitted across the galaxy. The Battle of Kepler 442 was not about human superiority. It was about human adaptability. We're not better than you because we're stronger or faster or smarter. We're better than you because we never stop trying to become better. But your ships, protested the Altarian representative. They used our own quantum technology against us. How is this possible? Because we didn't try to replace your technology, Park explained. We learned from it. We took the best parts of what each race had developed and combined them into something new, something better. Dr. Yang brought up a new display. It showed human ships working alongside alien vessels, but the alien ships had been modified with human adaptive technology. Earth offers partnership, not conquest, she said. We want to share what we've learned. Help your fleets become as adaptable as ours. Teach your engineers to think like human engineers. And in return? Asked the hegemony representative. In return, we all become stronger together than any of us could be alone. Admiral Nam replied. The galaxy is a dangerous place. There are threats out there that none of us have faced yet. When they come, we'll need to be ready to adapt to anything. The Kelleran War Prime tried to object. But our evolutionary paths are sacred. They have made us who we are for millions of years. And they will continue to make you who you are, Ambassador Kim assured him. We're not asking you to abandon your nature. We're asking you to add human nature to it. Keep your biological advantages, but learn to adapt them. Keep your crystal technology, but learn to modify it. Keep your energy powers, but learn to apply them in new ways. Those who choose to learn from Earth will have access to our adaptive technologies, Dr. Yang added. Those who prefer to continue the old ways are free to do so. But they should remember what happened to the fleets at Kepler 442. The session continued for hours. Some alien races immediately expressed interest in human partnership. Others demanded more information. A few, mostly those who had lost the most ships in the battle, remained hostile. But the message was clear. The galaxy had a new power, and that power was not based on superior weapons or stronger ships. It was based on the ability to learn from everyone and become better than anyone. As the council session ended, Captain Park stood in her quarters, on Luna Station, looking out at Earth. The blue planet seemed small and peaceful, but it had just changed the course of galactic history. Admiral Cho joined her at the window. "Second thoughts?" she asked. "None," Park replied. "For too long, this galaxy has been ruled by races who stopped growing. They perfected their technologies and called it finished. They reached the top of their evolutionary paths and decided there was nowhere else to go. And now? Now they have to decide if they want to learn from us or keep making the same mistakes they've made for thousands of years." On the display screen, reports were coming in from across human space. Alien ambassadors were arriving at Earth. Some came to surrender formally. Others came to negotiate new treaties. Many came to learn. "What about the ones who refused to change?" Admiral Cho asked. Captain Park smiled, but it was not a friendly expression. "Then they'll find out what our second-generation ships can do." In the shipyards around Luna, Earth's newest vessels were taking shape. These ships incorporated the best technologies from every race in the galaxy, but improved and adapted beyond anything their original creators had imagined. The aliens had laughed at Earth's first warships. They had called them primitive metal, boxes. They had dismissed human military capabilities as crude and backwards. Now wreckage fields drifted in space where their fleets used to patrol. Advanced alien technologies had been reduced to scrap metal by 4 ships they had mocked. The B galaxy was learning a new lesson. Never underestimate a species that never stops learning. And humanity was just getting started. In the depths of space, automated human sensors were already watching the dark areas between stars, scanning for new threats and new technologies to study. Whatever came next, Earth would be ready to learn from it, adapt to it, and if necessary, defeat it. The age of static evolution was over. The age of human adaptability had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.